Hey, Shalom, Mashallah. When it started off, so by giving no praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahshua, Hashem, Kudash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honesty, brothers doing the work in truth, war, sincerity. This is a video that's been doing around Dr. Erickson COVID-19 full brief, and it was on YouTube. And that's precisely why I'm even doing this video, because YouTube took it down. Now the channel it was on was 23 ABC. ABC is an American broadcast company or corporation or whatever, basically a legit source. And these two are doctors, with degrees. You can see all of their plaques and stuff behind them. They own several, practices or whatever, right? And basically they were basically saying that this whole lockdown is BS. Right, or going into things like that, going into the numbers, going into basically, one of the great points that he made, which basically makes us, us brothers think, what are these guys doing with this lockdown? Because one of the things he said was like in California where they're based, they're basically having the hospitals having to lay off staff or furlough staff or whatever, what have you. So hospital capacity is very low at the moment because basically no one's coming into the hospitals, right? And then what's happening is, because everyone's stuck at home, immune system's getting worse. So then he basically points out that there is a powder keg being brewed in the fact that on one hand, hospitals have low capacity, and then if they lift this lockdown, right, then you're gonna get people getting sick all over again. Right now, thinking of them like, you get freshers, the term freshers flu. You go to, you go out to university or whatever, and then you end up getting sick. So all of those, you're around all these new people, new viruses, whatever. So that's the thinking that I'm getting from what they were saying, right? So on that one hand, you're like, yo, what are these elites planning? What are they planning? Are they planning a second wave that's more deadly or whatever? What have we don't know. We don't know. We're just having to watch and pray as the scriptures command us to do, right? Mark 13:33, right? But yeah, this video has been taken from YouTube, and it's a good video. It's just a bit of a long one, but there was some good information in there. Only problem is, and I'm no statistician. I'm not in, I don't understand statistics, like that, because they basically, the base reason why you're having a load of people getting on them now is, from what they're saying, the stats that they presented weren't accurately presented. Right now, a real statistician might come back and say, actually, no, you're being the devils, because we know these guys are devils, because they hide behind they hide behind their stats. Whereas, like, for instance, they'll say there's been a load of deaths, more than any more deaths now than ever before. But then when you actually really look into it, 26, that when they say that, they're actually saying that for this particular week, right? So let's say this is what end of April, let's say this is week 20 of the year. So they're comparing week 20 against other week 20s. But what we've got to remember is this is fucking, excuse my French, but this is bloody spring, summer. We usually have our flu season November, December, right? So they're being disingenuous, when they even make that statement, because you look at the graphs. 2016, 2017 winter, that had a load of quote excess deaths. So excess deaths is more deaths than you wouldn't normally expect to see at that time of year, thus indicating that they may have been a pandemic, right? But there was no big shutdown or whatever, what have you, right? And even with this COVID thing, they're misrepresenting, rather miscategorizing deaths, right? You go into, the hospital with a gunshot wound, we also happen to have coronavirus that goes down as a coronavirus death, right? But the main reason I want to get this, because if they can pull down a video from a quote reputable source, i.e. 23 ABC, and the video is from from reputable in the eyes of this world, reputable sources and reputable people, right, then what does it mean for the truth? Right, basically what they're saying is they control what is true. Right, and this is a pattern that we've been seeing going on and on and on as this as this quote virus progresses, right? So they eventually the final end game is to remove the truth from the YouTube, man, right? Because this internet, this YouTube, right? The Lord, that was of the Lord, man. The Lord basically put it in these guys' minds to put this thing together, right? So now let me remember his speech. Right, this is Psalms 19 and 3. 19 and 1 says, the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Right, so we call this the internet scripture, right? Because day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night uttereth night showeth knowledge. This truth is available 24/7. Right, so there's no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Right, brothers ain't been to Antarctica yet. The videos can be watched over there. Right, and the beautiful thing about internet is as well is things can be translated on the fly, right? And then what do you call it? You get brothers that might speak other languages, doing videos in other languages. The fact is the internet allowed this truth to basically be spread throughout the world, and the biggest user video platform, right, in the Western world, right, and in other parts. One reason why I said it like that is because you get China and China doesn't really. I don't believe YouTube is available in China. I might be wrong, but if Google isn't available in China, then I highly doubt YouTube is, right? But basically, this truth is available throughout the whole world in one way, shape, or another, right? Because that's just the way the Lord set it up, right? It says. So right, so that was the whole point of YouTube. So if YouTube cut it off, right? If YouTube prevent brothers from uploading, right, as it was in the early days, brothers would upload, video gets taken down as soon as it's finished processing or whatever, what have you, right? We're gonna get to that stage again, but they ain't gonna be no creating new channels. They're just gonna do away with it, right? And this is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. Right now, these like I was going into, these are the times we're heading into, right? Because this famine is a famine of hearing the word, right? And these are, this is the, the true, what's the word I'm looking for? This is the true, the living waters. This is life, right? Scripture say man cannot live by bread alone, right? This truth is, really, really the real currency of the world, right? And basically Esau, because he's coming down, he knows, he's got a short time. He's basically gonna be trying to limit access to this truth real soon, right? And once again, that's why, I was just basically sharing this. So this is on BitChute. If you Google bit CHUT, I mean, I don't know, I'm not. You might be able to find this video also, but if you just type in Dr. Erickson COVID-19 full briefing, right? The only reason I said because bit, is like Bitcoin and all of that. I don't know if it's gonna try and make you try pay or something like that. Try do viruses or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, this is Revelation 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. right? So just like how they turn, they're making these two doctors look like enemies or whatever, what have you, right? And don't be surprised if there are people saying revoke their license, or whatever, what have you, right? But just like how they're getting down on them, they're gonna be getting down on Jake as a whole, which is why all of a sudden the narrative changed from look, there's no cases in Africa, this, that, and the other. Yeah, black people are immune from the coronavirus, to black people are so-called black, because we ain't black, right? Black is just a color, right? But basically goes from you know quote, black people can't get the coronavirus, to black people are the ones, they say in England, BAME, black and minority ethnics or whatever, right? They're the ones getting the coronavirus more than everyone else, right? Are more likely to die more than everyone else, right? So we know that's all part of this man's plan, and the fact that you're having all this tension. People that are saying, "Look, man, you need to lift the lockdown." Other people that are saying, "No, keep the lockdown." Lots of comparisons with, Sweden, this, that, and the other, right? Esau's planning something. Esau's plotting. That's we don't know exactly what's going on, but we know Esau's plotting. We know that prophecy is being fulfilled, right? Which is why at the top of this whole crisis, you had brothers, being hit up by people that they used to know back in the world, or whatever, or people that they know. Oh, is this what you man have been talking about? Right? As Ezekiel 33 says, "Oh, and this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them." Right. So these are the beginning of sorrows, as the scriptures say, right? Because things are gonna get worse, right? This is light work, right? Because what people are still talking about, the possibility of things getting better, right? Right now, people can still have funerals, but in the times to come, there ain't gonna be no funeral, man. Right? It's Matthew 24:6 says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." We heard that at the beginning of the year, right? And whilst that was happening, this coronavirus was brewing, and whilst we're dealing with the coronavirus, what's brewing? The famine, right? Says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and they shall be famines," right? And like I was going into, that's being brewed at the moment, right? Which were Elder Ayathon did a video on, and basically going into the fact that you had some people, farmers saying, "Look, we're being told to color our animals, but at the same time, they're importing beef from Namibia," right? So once again, we're basically looking at this whole thing of, there's going to be food shortages. Certain foods aren't going to be available, and hey, as whenever people start exporting to the Western world, guess what happens? The locals, in one way or another, suffer. Right? You watch that that series, Rotten, on Netflix, and it's going into series 2, season 2, right? And it's going in episode 1, it's going into the avocados, right now, and because everyone wants to eat avocados, people in the lands where those avocados are grown, right? Some of them ain't got enough water because it's all being used for avocados, right? Or you get some instances where you basically have a load of food being exported, but maybe there ain't enough for the local people, right? And as Elder Ayathon was going into, right? He's basically saying, "Look, I can envision a situation where only the rich are able to get meat, which meat is a luxury, right? You go to other places in the world, right? They only eat a handful of meat, but everyone here in the Western world eats that high meat diet, right?" It says, "And there shall be famines and pestilences," right? This is going into the plagues, right? And this is plural. So this is just one of, and this is the thing, different brothers will speak on it, right? They've been plagues. Cancer is a plague, right? The amount of deaths of cancer, if I forget the numbers, but it's significantly more than this shit, right? Heart disease, well, it's really cancer and heart disease, and other things that are preventable, or to some degree, by just having a good diet, by not smoking, for instance. People dying from smoking, more people from this fate than this, nothing of a disease, die from smoking related issues, right? It says, "And earthquakes in diverse places." It says all these are the beginning of sorrow. So this is just the beginning. Right, we'll see more and more in the times to come. The Lord will start opening up on this world. Right, I want to end on this real quick. This is Sirach 13:23, which says, "When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look what he saith." Now, normally, right, when a doctor will speak, everyone's going to be, "Oh, okay, yeah." And in fact, when you have hearing all of these different, reading all of these articles, trying to get on these two doctors, right? One of the articles I was reading, it was saying, yeah, and these are doctors, so people are going to believe them, right? So what they did was very dangerous. And do you know what they did to combat these two guys? They got someone in an even higher position, right? A quote richer man, right? To basically look down on them and say, "Oh no, what you're saying is, it's blah 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 blah," right? Which, like I said, I'm no statistician, right? But from there, the people getting on them, their argument is the stats were a little bit off, right? So if the stats were off or whatever, but the point that they were making is still valid, right? That this lockdown has no purpose. It doesn't make any bloody sense, right? The guy even mentioned the scriptures. It was like, well, in the time of the Bible, you quarantined the leper, right? You didn't quarantine the healthy, you quarantined the leper, you quarantined the sick, right? And they were explaining how the immune system works. The fact that when you're a baby, you have no immune system. Your immune system develops by, being out in the world and getting sick, right? Your body learning, about different viruses. But what Esau's done is kept everyone in. And then when everyone goes back out, guess what? You're going to have a load of people getting sick. And then what are they going to say immediately? "Oh, we should have never lifted the lockdown." Why? Because they're not being told to expect to be sick from other things. They're not being told that their immune system is going to be weakened, right? And anyone who does, right, like these guys are making very good points. They're making very good points at the risk of their career, their business, right? It says what he said, if they extol it to the clouds, right? So they basically been saying what Dr. Fauci said, blah 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 blah, right? Which Dr. Fauci, and then they'll be saying, "Look, man, Dr. Fauci hasn't seen a patient in however long." They were being respectful. It was like, "Look, man, we respect him, because he's been in the game, right? However, he doesn't see patients. We see patients. We see the people, right?" It says, "But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? Right? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him." Right? So they stumbled and oh man, he said, I was reading one article and they were basically going in on it, on this guy, man. Right? And he says, "But if a poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this?" So literally they started bringing out his credentials. Oh yeah, he's not he's not a biologist, he's not an immunologist, right? He's not even an MD, right? And he said, I forget exactly the difference. I don't, in fact, I don't know the difference. But then someone was like, "Well, if he's not an MD, what is he?" And he said he's a DO, and then one other person was saying, "Well, a DO is higher than an MD." Right? All medical terms or something. I'm not a medic either, or immunologist, virologist, but where I can, you verify the information that that you have, right? But yeah, man, look, man, they gonna take us off the YouTube, bro, soon, man, right? Because Esau knows he's got a short time, and this truth has gone global, man. And when the spirit starts dealing with with the brothers, right, we're starting to the apostles on down to start doing the healing and whatever, right? They're gonna have to take that off, man, right? They're gonna have to do something, man, because too much is happening. Esau can't. Esau's struggling to regain control, right? So yeah, as always, Lord's word, I was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom.